Oh, Steve and Larson! Don't you dare be sour. Clap for yourselves and feel the power. Yes. And all you people out there, you're watching Going In Raw with Steve Larson.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And, of course, taped live at the twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. A pretty entertaining episode of Smackdown tonight. I thought it sort of carried itself as if it was the episode of Smackdown after, you know, a big event. We had Becky Lynch teasing more of this heel turn stuff. We had Heyman sweating the Brock stuff. We have a new challenger for Roman Reigns, potentially a couple, but one seemingly in the more immediate future.
Immediate future, yes.
So we're going to talk about all that stuff. But first, we've got a little bit of news on the WWE front. Larson, who's WWE pissed off this time?
I mean, who haven't they, apparently? So earlier this week, we talked about an Andrew Zarin report that NBC Universal was upset with WWE because, thanks to the additions of Brock Lesnar and Becky Lynch, the SmackDown roster was now stacked.
So what do they got to be upset about then?
Well, according to Dave Meltzer in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE brought Becky and Brock to the blue brand because Fox was upset that WWE didn't try to sign CM Punk. This is what Dave had to say. Quote, Fox was very upset that WWE didn't make a big offer to Punk to keep him from going to AEW. And politically, WWE felt the need to get Lesnar and Lynch to SmackDown right away. Punk has a positive relationship with Fox for making the deal with them for WWE backstage. Meltzer noted that bringing Brock back was, quote, literally a last-minute deal that was put together for a number of reasons, all in some form related to Fox, CM Punk showing up in AEW, and John Cena leaving. And adds that, quote, the situation with Fox is always up and down, with the key being that Fox's SmackDown is used to promote Peacock, the streaming service of NBC Universal, particularly since Fox has its own streaming services they are rolling out.
Yeah, billion-dollar deals, and you know, the company won't even try to sign CM Punk for that big moment. Well, look, I think you and I can both perhaps let Fox rest a little bit easy, have a little bit of peace of mind. He was never going to go to WWE.
Probably not.
Maybe, just maybe, there was a dollar amount big enough. Maybe. However, given how CM Punk really does seem, at least in this early stage, and maybe it's a honeymoon phase, really seem. I've mentioned this before. AEW is a company that is custom made for a guy like CM Punk. Yeah. You have tons of freedom. They're going to treat you like $1 million.
You don't have the arduous schedule you got to work.
You're
not on the road 300 days a year, you know?
I mean, especially now when in the same issue of Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer said, yeah, the whole thing about WWE not going after indie talent, that's totally a thing. Like, I know Nick Khan I don't think he danced around it, but he seemed to leave it open a little bit. But apparently, according to Meltzer, from the top down, we're not looking at the independents anymore. So now, if you're a guy who's like, wow, I want to make a career in pro wrestling, you actually have to think twice about whether or not you either want to start in independent pro wrestling if your goal is to get to WWE.
Yeah, you might be better off just like training, like getting in really good shape and going to a tryout. I mean, if the goal is WWE, that is, and taking that path rather than, you know, what people have done for years and years and years, which is go independence, build your own brand, and then start getting eyeballs.
Yeah. I mean, it used to be that WWE did. I mean, obviously in the last couple of years, but even traditionally going way back, like they'd pull from wherever they could find good talent. If you're good talent, you're good talent. But those days might be over, at least for now, because obviously things change quite a bit, and sometimes they change quickly. But I don't know. I get the feeling that had COVID not been a thing, had pandemic not been a thing, we might have seen the CM Punk thing happen even earlier. You know, because I do think that him and Brian, certain guys, Punk was never going to show up if there were no fans there. That was never going to happen.
Yeah.
But now seeing how, the company operates, I don't know if WWE ever, if given where AEW is now, given where WWE is, I don't know there's a dollar amount. Just the limited stuff that we know about the guy, I don't know that there's a dollar amount,
Yeah.
So I don't think Fox has, much right to be upset. I mean, the idea that WWE didn't even try is obviously something, hey, yeah, you guys really need to be trying.
Yeah, at least make a phone call.
Make a phone call. Make the guy an offer. We're giving you a ton of money. But yeah, at the same time with Fox, it's like if there has ever been any, tension, given that WWE is on Peacock, that's just what you're getting into. That they've been a USA Network for decades now.
Yeah.
You're getting into bed with a company that's been in bed with USA for ages. And then Peacock gave them $1 billion for their programming stuff, or however much it was. It was a lot.
It was a lot of money.
So yeah, I don't know. It's all a bunch of silliness, and to be honest with you, like they need to be worried about creative anyways. If the creative is good, then the ratings are going to be good, and that's proven. That's proven.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting stuff. It makes you wonder, like if Fox is going to rethink the deal in 2023, whenever that's going to happen. Another revelation tonight: a new logo and look and song for NXT. So a little while before Smackdown started tonight, Wale, good friend of the show, bought us some beers once. Solid guy, an excellent musician.
Yes.
On his Twitter feed, posted a promo that later ran on SmackDown, showcasing a very colorful, sort of reminiscent of another wrestling program that I've seen before. Oh, yeah. AEW's Dynamite launch.
Yes.
Looked a little bit similar, except instead of paint spatter, it was like gas spatter. It was like you're going on one of them paint fun runs. I did one of those before. It was a 5K, and then at all the checkpoints, they'd throw a bunch of like chalk or colored chalk or whatever it was at you.
Yeah.
Some stuff.
Yeah.
And you'd inhale it, get sick for a couple days, but it was a blast. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's fun while you're doing it.
Yeah, it's fun while you're doing it. So obviously, huge production difference. I'm curious. I'm all about it, man. I'll be honest. We had our era with the Undisputed Era, with Aleister Black, with Andrade, with Gargano, with Ciampa. They had their run of excellent 5-star matches. That era is over. That's not happening anymore. It's going to be awkward, gassed up meatheads who don't know how to move their feet right.
Don't make me laugh.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I need to be careful tonight.
Yeah. On eggshells.
On eggshells with Larson tonight.
Oh man.
So yeah, I'm about it because I do think that you need a friend. You could just feel though, because what's Triple H's thing?
Metal.
This is Nickelodeon. This is not metal in any way, shape, or form. It's a bunch of like very colorful paint spatter, and
it's
like
a very flat logo.
Yeah,
it's just the font with just an outline.
Yeah,
that's it.
And like the sort of some of the wording in the Wale track was like "be true to yourself," which is I guess maybe some introspection for NXT. Hey, we're not AEW. We can't be that. Aesthetically, we're going to try, but, instead we're going to go after guys like Laser or Turbo from American Clown. I'm sorry, I had to. Gassed up meatheads is what we're on the prowl for.
We're going to do like competition bits in the performance center. Just inspired by American Gladiator challenges.
Oh my goodness gracious. Anyways, So yeah, new NXT. We'll see what that's all about. Probably coming September 14th, because that's going to be the next live episode.
Yeah, I would think so. I just said it had the logo, and afterwards it just said coming.
Just said coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break here to get a word in from our sponsor, Liquid Death. So Larson,
Yeah.
The calendar may say that we're nearing the end of summer, but the thermometer is telling me that it's still hot.
Oh, it's hot.
But let me tell you something. When I feel that heat coming on, I reach for this awesome-looking tall boy can of Liquid Death.
And you may ask, is there beer in this can? Because this certainly looks like it's a can of beer, but no. Inside this can is 16.9 ounces of mountain water that will brutally murder your thirst, hence the name. And not only does the can look cool, what makes it even cooler is that aluminum cans are infinitely recyclable, unlike plastic bottles, which mostly end up in a landfill. See here, Steve, plastic bottles, they're a money loser for recycling centers, but aluminum cans actually make them a profit.
Also, Liquid Death donates 10% of their profits from every can sold to help bring death upon plastic pollution. So if you want to trick people into thinking you're drinking a beer when you're actually destroying your thirst with refreshing mountain water in an ice-cold can, go to liquiddeath.com/GIR and get free shipping on all water and merch. That's liquiddeath.com/GIR.
Or grab some at your neighborhood Whole Foods or 7-Eleven. Before we get back to the show, let's get a word from our sponsor, Craig. You know, Steve, I feel like I need to take up a new hobby. I want to start making stuff out of wood with these hands of mine, but I honestly have no idea where to start.
So Larson wants to get into woodworking, eh?
Yeah.
Well, I was once like you, feeling the urge to craft something with these hands, but unsure if I could do so. But then I got these hands on a Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro. Craig has been the innovator and leader in pocket hole joinery, setting the standard for 30 plus years. And now, if I got my Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro and a drill, I feel like I can build nearly anything from bookcases to desks to outdoor patio furniture.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, tell me more, please.
Sure, absolutely. See, pocket hole joinery is a way of creating fast, simple, and strong joints in a variety of wood projects. And the Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro makes it easier than ever. You know me, Larson. I've never been terribly handy, and the thought of building something out of wood with these hands of mine seemed like a pipe dream. But after going to craigtool.com, that's K-R-E-G tool.com, getting my hands on a Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro, I can build pocket hole projects anytime, anywhere.
Wow, I am impressed. You know, I got this wall back here. There's nothing on it. I could use a bookcase. Can you put a bookcase together so I can put right there? Can you build me a bookcase, please?
No, Larson, because you can do it yourself.
Oh.
Now anyone, even Larson, can easily create perfect and strong pocket hole joints with the Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro. It works with a wide variety and size of material and is great for building all types of indoor and outdoor wood projects.
The Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro comes with everything you need and retails for just $99.99. It's available nationwide at Home Depot, Lowe's, and other home centers, woodworking, and hardware stores. Learn more at craigtool.com. That's K-R-E-G tool.com.
Again, that's craigtool.com. K-R-E-G tool.com. Oh, man. Anyways, so yeah, Smackdown, I don't know. You sort of grinned a little bit when I said it was decent. I thought it was fairly entertaining tonight. You know, were you into it or no?
No, it was fine. I didn't have any problems with it per se.
I liked Happy Corbin. I liked that they brought that up. Of course, if you'd been paying attention to his social media and WWE social media, he's been having just a huge run of luck in Vegas. I do appreciate that they took the opportunity to say, hey, SummerSlam's in Vegas. What a great opportunity for a story beat here. That's very clever. Something you don't get a ton of in WWE. No. So we got Happy Corbin. We'll talk about that. And then, of course, probably the two bigger story beats as well is we've got what seems to be the most immediate contender for Roman Reigns. The next guy he's going to smash and pin, Finn Balor. He confronted him tonight, said he wants a match for SmackDown next week. And then we got, probably more importantly, Becky Lynch, on road to being an actual heel tonight in the face of a challenge from Bianca Belair. No.
Yeah.
Said no. And she just sort of said, nah, and then left. The crowd still booed her. But when she mentioned SummerSlam, the crowd cheered her. When she mentioned SummerSlam, they booed her. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
I mixed the words cheer and boo, which is totally true. Like they did both.
Yeah, they did. It was a mixed reaction.
Like we love you, but we don't love what you did.
And the first half of her promo tonight was very much a babyface promo.
Yes.
Good to be back. Missed the fans. It was hard to get up the title. And then when, she was talking about what happened at SummerSlam, it's like it's time for me to say sorry for absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she went about kind of justifying it. And she's like, hey, I've been here long enough to know that everything is about timing. An opportunity meets preparation. That's when you strike. I've been preparing for this every second of every day. If you don't know that, you haven't paid attention to my career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it wasn't like a full bore heel turn.
Mm-hmm.
And even later on, so they have a segment. They bring Liv Morgan, Carmella, Zelina Vega down to the ring. Leads to a four-way elimination match. And it got down to Liv and Bianca. And I was like, okay, is this where Becky's going to come out? And, whether outwardly or just kind of on the sly, cost Bianca this match. And really start pushing the heel idea. I thought, okay, maybe they'll really start going with it. No.
I get the feeling it does make me wonder if this is going to be one of the things that in retrospect we look back on and say that SummerSlam moment in context was a very effective one for what came down the line. We always shout out our good friendos over at Fightful Select. I won't go into the details because they pay their staff with that paywall of theirs. However, there is a bit in the latest report on backstage reactions for Becky Lynch that showed up on Fightful Select just tonight. And one of the interesting items was one of his sources mentioned that they were told that this is a story that there is a plan in place to see it through to get the ideas to get Bianca over even more, which is really fantastic. And so I wonder if they have, when you have a plan in place and you see it through, much like we've seen with Roman, I think it can be very effective. Now, the idea is if they go through with it and don't make any pit stops along the way or change their mind, and then all of a sudden Bianca's languishing in Naomi territory or I don't know, pick somebody else at all territory. That's not what you want. So, I guess
I guess they're kind of over the first hurdle because I was even wondering if anybody was going to boo Becky tonight,
Yeah.
And there was. So, that's promising that people are their opinion of it is happy to see you, not happy with what you did.
Yeah, I mean that, the reaction was pretty firm, at least online. So it's interesting to see that the fan base that's showing up in the arenas are echoing that as well. We'll just go ahead and dive into it. People were wondering, Pat McAfee down with the old COVID, so he wasn't there tonight. In his place, two men tried to replace him: Corey Graves and Kevin Owens, who I thought was pretty delightful on commentary tonight. He was good. He was trying to needle Corey Graves a little bit here and there. It was pretty fun.
It was good. The first thing, he was like, hey, why do you get the comfortable chair? I'm actually on Smackdown. You're not.
Yeah, right. So it kicked off, like you said, Becky Lynch coming down. Crowd gives her a warm reception. She says, it feels good to be back on top. Let me go to my notes here. Sorry. It feels good to be back on top. So I missed you guys. When I had to give up my title, it was one of the hardest things I ever had to do. It felt like I was giving up my identity. I've been working every day since I've been gone to get back to where I once was. But now I've got a new life, a new set of priorities. And if you think I was dangerous before when I was just fighting for myself, now that I've got somebody else to fight for, I'm extra dangerous. She says, which brings me to what happened at SummerSlam, and the crowd boos. And she says, yeah, I know. There's been a lot of controversy that I was underhanded at SummerSlam. And she says, I'd like to say I'm sorry for absolutely nothing. I've been in WWE long enough to know that everything is about timing and opportunity. If you think I haven't been prepping for this every day since I've been gone, you're crazy. That brings out Bianca. She gets a good pop. Big pop for Bianca. She says, I'm not out here to make excuses because that's not my style. But if you think I'm okay with what happened at SummerSlam, I've been here working too hard, too long for you to walk in and erase that in 26 seconds. She said, look, I accepted your last-minute challenge, so how about you accept mine and we tear it down for that title tonight? And then the losingest wrestler to ever try to make a case for a world title, Zelina Vega, comes out. And I'm like, where is Toni Storm, Mia Yim? Later on, we saw Liv Morgan. So that was good. So she comes out. She says,
where's Tegan Knox? Where's Shotzi?
Well, they've got their, they probably should have had another championship contender match, man. Though that's going to be next week.
It wasn't on the show, was it?
No. So Zelina comes out, says, so this is what the EST of WWE has been reduced to. Crying for a rematch. Bianca, you should fall back and let me have that match with Becky. Carmella comes out, starts making excuses for not having been prepared at SummerSlam. And then Liv Morgan interrupts. She says, I don't understand why these two want a shot when they get beat week after week after week, which is totally true. She says, Becky, if you want a contender, I'm right here. Bianca interrupts them, all bickering because Carmella starts calling out Liv. They start bickering. Bianca interrupts him, says, listen, this is not about any of you guys. She says, I want my rematch. She says, Becky, let's give the people what they want. Bianca versus the man tonight. Becky thinks about it. Crowd's going wild. She says, nah. No. And walks off. So in its stead, we got an elimination match between these four, which I thought was a good way to determine, who's the number one contender. Liv versus Bianca versus Mella versus Zelina Vega.
Yeah, early on, Mella and Vega had a bit of an alliance going. That broke down, of course, predictably. Bianca had shortly thereafter hit Zelina with the KOD. Zelina's eliminated. Shortly thereafter, Carmella is eliminated by Liv Morgan after Liv hits her finish. Go to commercial. You see that NXT logo promo. And during commercial, Carmella, who had actually been eliminated, takes out Liv and Bianca ringside. Later on, though, Bianca does hit Liv after a lot of really good back and forth.
Oh, this was a terrific, because it
really
basically just turned into like a one-on-one match.
One-on-one match. It was a really good showcase for Liv Morgan.
It was, yeah. It was terrific stuff. Bianca got the win with the KOD. But yeah, I would definitely recommend anybody, if you're on the fence about watching SmackDown, this sequence in particular was really, really good. Adam Beveridge here in chat has a really good point, by the way. He says, Steve, there was no championship contender matches. There were none on Raw, and I said if they don't show up on SmackDown, they're done with. The real test, I think, is going to be on Raw. They got 3 hours. And if we go 2 Raws in a row without championship contender matches, the deal's sealed. Completely sealed. Completely sealed.
We'll see.
After that, we have a Paul Heyman interview. He's standing by Roman Reigns' door, and Kayla's there, and she says, I've got to prep for, he's giving Kayla the business. He's like, I got to prep for the family celebration. And then he goes and he tries to get in. He's locked out.
Yep.
He's locked out. Back from commercial, Kayla's just standing there with a shit-eating grin. And he's like, do you have to be hovering here, stalking me? Don't you have somebody else to bother? The Usos come out, and they think Paul's a bit on the sus side here. He's suspect. And they ask him, hey, Paul, real talk. Did you know Brock was going to be there at SummerSlam? And Heyman says, no. Why would I tear down what we've all worked on so hard to build up? I swear I didn't know Brock was going to be there. And then they're like, but why did you send us to the locker room before Roman's match? And he says, I didn't send you back there. Roman did. I did it at his orders. And the Usos said this family is built on trust. And then what was the punctuation? Oh, he says, if Heyman knew Brock was there, why didn't he tell them?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Then we got Chad Gable versus Cesaro.
Yeah, and this ended as you would expect, like basically every Chad Gable match these days. He's on the verge of getting beat. Otis comes in, causes a DQ, and then beats the hell out of Gable's opponent. That's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened. Then they did their awesome finish, the Vader bomb from Otis. Yeah, Otis is about to beat Cesaro, by the way. They're gonna job Cesaro out to Otis. That's what's gonna happen here.
I know.
Which, hey, maybe next year Otis will win Money in the Bank. They're building him up. They're building him up to the point where we could win Money in the Bank.
Maybe. He's still fairly one-dimensional as a character. Not that's ever stopped WWE, but
I'm still not, dude. I'm not convinced at all. I'm not convinced. He's nowhere near convincing me. There needs to be some additional dimension there. I just don't see
exactly.
it yet.
Yeah, no. After that, Kayla's in the parking lot. She says Roman Reigns is about to arrive. A Bentley pulls in. She's like, "Oh, it's Roman." No, it's Barrett. He says, "I'm happy, Corbin. Now, luck is finally on my side. I'm filthy rich, and I'm happy."
So, like, this is one of those things where, like, I would have popped a lot more for just the name Happy Corbin, but we had heard that trademark story from 2 months ago that they had trademarked Happy Corbin, so we sort of knew where this was going. But still, I thought Corbin is doing such good work right now. He's giving it everything he has, and I love it. So he comes out to this really great new music. He looks like $1 million, new suit. He talks about that too. He's got a $50,000 watch. He's all clean shaven now. He comes out. He says, "Look at this smile. Did you guys think you'd ever see this smile on my face? I lost my house, my wife. I was wearing the same dirty shirt for months. But look at me now. I look incredible. I did it all by myself. I'm the happiest man in the world." And then he throws to a video package, and it shows his run of luck in Vegas. The whole turnaround, rather.
He turned $35 into a fortune, apparently.
Yeah. It must have been a massive fortune. He comes back to him. He declares himself. He was like, "I was the mayor of Jackpot City." He said, which is great. He said, "I deserve this. I bet on myself and I won." And he says he's the happiest man alive, but there's one thing that would make him even happier. "Big E, could you come out here?" So Big E comes out and he says, "I'm happy for you. I'm just glad you don't smell anymore." And nothing phases Corbin here. Corbin says, "Look, man, I know you were mad when I stole your Money in the Bank. So I want to make things square. I want to buy that. How much? How about $20,000? Big E says, "Nah. How about $50,000? And he says, "Ain't going to happen, Corbin." And he says, "Come on, man. You're probably going to cash in and lose because that happens to people." And he says, "Yeah, people like you." And he's like, "Yeah, exactly. You're going to end up miserable, man. I want you to be happy like me. How about $100,000? And then Big E milks it. He's like, "That's a lot of money. Kids needs braces." But he says, "Hell no." He says, "But I do have a myriad of things you could spend that money on. A half-eaten sandwich? Nah. A pencil? No. An Arkansas Razorback plushie." And the crowd goes nuts for that. They love their Razorbacks there.
They're in Little Rock.
Yeah, they're in Little Rock. My old stomping grounds right there. Corbin says, "That's fine. I'm way too rich and too happy for this." And so that Big E says, you need to get out of here because I'm going to beat your ass. I'm tired of this. So, but, doesn't faze Corbin. He says, "I'm fine. It's fine. I'm way too rich and too happy for this. So be miserable. Cash in and lose. You're going to regret not accepting my $100,000. And that's when he says, "Hit the bricks or I'm going to slap that smile on your face."
Yeah.
Corbin leaves.
Yeah. And after that, we had an Edge promo. He talks about how satisfying SummerSlam was. He defeated Seth, paid for it. He had to go to a dark place, a place he doesn't like to go, to find the most savage version of himself. And he says has affected him wherever he's gone. But he did it. Now, that albatross, Seth, he's rid himself of it. Now he's moving on to what Seth cost him to begin with, the Universal title. And then Seth had a retort.
Yeah, and he seemed like he was on the edge of breaking because he would deliver this with a big smile on his face, and then he'd have to sort of grit through a little bit. He said, "Edge, I've got one thing I want to say to you. Congratulations. I've had a week to think about everything that happened at SummerSlam. Some people called our match of the year candidate. For me, it was a loss that taught me something about myself. As much as it pains me to admit this, at SummerSlam, you won my respect and admiration. I admire you, the career and the life you built for yourself. And it got me thinking, if I want to fight my way back to the title, maybe I need to be a bit more like you. So thank you and congratulations." So he's really,
feels good.
He's going to murder Edge, by the way.
Yeah, he is. We get a quick shot of Roman. He's walking backstage. He walks up to his locker room. Heyman's still standing outside. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And Heyman's kind of confused. And Roman just says, "Do I have to open my own doors now?"
Yeah.
And Heyman's very apologetic. He opens the door. And Roman goes in and says, "You coming?"
You coming?
So Heyman goes in the locker room with him.
Yeah. After that, we had Boogz and Nakamura versus Rude and Ziggler. Mid-match, kind of towards the beginning of the match, there's like a picture-in-picture Cruz promo. He runs down Nakamura and Boogz. And then Boogz gets the win here again.
It's kind of interesting that Boogz is getting the push, seemingly.
I wonder if he's going to turn on Nakamura. Boogz next Intercontinental Champion, maybe.
I don't know. It's interesting.
They'll put him with Adam Cole if Adam Cole signs.
Don't make you laugh.
Sorry. We'll move on. After this, Naomi is on SmackDown, and she approaches, God, what a jerk, Sonya Deville.
Well, this is what Sonya was doing.
She's on her phone the entire time. She's sitting here on her phone, it looked like she was trying to figure out how to use it. And Naomi's like, hey, I'm here on SmackDown, here to glow this place up. It's going to be great. And Sonya's like, yeah, be honest with you, I didn't even know you were going to be here. Nobody told me. It's probably a move behind my back that Pierce made. Pierce. And,
well, then she says, I didn't know you were coming. I don't know if you measure up.
Yeah, against who? The losingest wrestler on the roster is Zelina Vega? Carmella? She is a much-needed injection of talent on the roster.
Yes. That's what Naomi says. Like, I'm a former 2-time champion. And then Sonya just cuts her off and is like, I'll let you know next week who you got a match against.
Yeah. So, Naomi needs to head straight to where her husband is at with Roman and join the Blood. Put her on that shirt because they got a new shirt now. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of cool. This next bit might have been my favorite bit of the show. So it's Ray and Dominic backstage. And Ray's like, hey, Dom, you got to fly on your own.
Dude, he broke up with his own son.
You did. He says, I'll have your back no matter what. Dom's like, what does that mean? He's all sad. And it's like, hey, I spoke to Pierce. I got you a match. You know, you got to fly on your own. You got to prove yourself out there. I'm convinced if you go out there confident, you can get that W.
Dad, you brought me into this.
Dom walks out with his head down.
It's literally like the Charlie Brown stuff. It's like, you brought me into this asinine company, and now you're just ditching me?
Oh,
Ray is the worst Poppy. Oh, he's the worst.
And then so it's Dom versus mystery opponent. And I text you, I was like, is Adam Cole going to come and just beat the heck out of Dom Mysterio?
Yeah, yeah.
And then we were like, I'm over here, my heart's pumping. I'm like, oh, is Adam Cole going to show up on SmackDown? And I love Sami Zayn. He's great.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn was his opponent.
I was excited. I honestly was so relieved because I don't want him there. I don't want him there. This is a big moment. Look, it is a decision that obviously he has to make.
Yeah.
That has huge consequences for his life.
Mm-hmm.
But whether he likes it or not, it has huge consequences for just like wrestling too. It's a big decision that he's making. Like, do you stick with this company that has basically turned its back on everything that you have built in NXT? Like, they're just saying, we're not going to do you anymore. Like, you're not the thing that we want anymore. Do you sign? I honestly believe I would be, if I was him, I would be terrified to take $1 million if that's the amount.
Yeah.
And Vince could easily do that weird Vince thing where he's like, yeah, I'm going to give this guy $1 million and treat him like dog shit just to sort of show everybody that it's still my business, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know that he would. I don't know that he would be so weird as to give somebody $1 million and then do that.
Well, it could even be a thing where Vince goes into it with good intention, gives $1 million 3 weeks in, is like, oh, okay, I'm on to something else now. You know?
Yeah.
And just lose interest.
Yeah.
That's even maybe just as if not more likely, where like after 3 weeks of quality booking, Adam Cole just disappears from TV. You know, you see that happen.
We've seen it happen before. So I don't know. It's like one of those things where it's like, man, I hate to, I hope that he's got a good support system around him. It's probably just all his friends in AEW.
Well, he's friends with Kevin Owens,
Yeah, that's true. And
that was the upside because Sami Zayn comes out there. Of course, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens have, a long running feud in WWE before that. And of course, Kevin Owens and Adam Cole have crossed paths. So I didn't know if it'd be a situation where at that moment they're like, oh, Kevin Owens is on commentary, bang, super kick from Adam Cole. Yeah. And rather than get into a program with Ray and Dom, if Adam Cole gets part of the SmackDown, gets right into a feud with Kevin Owens, well, that's a good feud to start out with, you know?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's just, man, there's so many ceilings there.
I know.
There's so many ceilings there that, like, I don't know if a guy like that can break through. But you know the temptation, and plus he probably has a blast on Up, Up, Down, Down. It's obvious he loves doing that stuff.
Yeah.
And dude, I don't know, man. You see him on a stream, maybe that's the stuff. He's like, yeah, you know, whatever. If they want me to go out there and wrestle, great. But I really like doing this Up, Up, Down, Down stuff, you know? And I like streaming. Maybe they'll let him stream if he keeps on just being like Chugs and not Adam Cole. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
With the ski mask. So Sammy dominates this. Dom tries a 619. Dom goes flying out of the ring because Sammy like pulls the ropes down.
Ray comes out rings.
This guy, the sack on this son of a bitch.
Oh,
to break up with your son right before a match with Sami Zayn, like one of the most sinister pieces of crap on the roster. And then he comes out there. Oh, son, you're effing up. You're a disappointment to me again.
Yeah.
And Dom uses that distraction to get a 2 with the roll up, but then Sammy ends up hitting a haluva kick for the finish for 3.
Yeah.
Blasts this poor kid in the face.
And then starts dancing over him after he pins him. And so Ray gets in the ring as Sammy's leaving. He helps Dom up, and Dom's like, "Get away. Leave me alone." You know, and he rolls out of the ring, and he's walking away from Ray, and Ray's following him and saying, "Hey, we all have bad days."
Right? Yeah, today's a terrible day. My dad broke up with me. What a horrible day this is. Gee whiz, man. Anyways, after that, we got the Bloodline. They're about to go do their celebration there at the gorilla position with Vince breathing on him. And Paul offers up the title to Roman. And he's like, what do I need that for? And Heyman's like, well, the celebration's for family. And he says, wise man, you are family. I love you. And then Heyman's like, okay, cool. So they go. And then we get the celebration, and Heyman says, this is the moment we all get to celebrate that we've seen enough of John Cena, thanks to the beating at the hands of Roman Reigns. Before that, he gives a big intro to both Roman and the Usos. Mm-hmm. And they really feel like a real faction now. It seems like all the...
Well, they got the shirt.
They got the shirt now. So... Muted Mayday says, I thought Sammy was going to start teabagging Dom.
It looked like it, yeah.
So then...
Don't make me laugh.
The prince interrupts. Sorry. The prince interrupts. He says, hey, Roman, you know I got screwed by John Cena. Believe me, I haven't forgotten about Cena. I'll deal with him later. But he's like on a plane, dude. He's going to go film Argyle now. He's not going to
he's be gone for a while. Unless he can go to the set and attack John Cena, you're on to the,
right,
getting your revenge or not terribly high anytime soon.
Drastic, go down.
Yeah.
He says, but now everybody's talking about your title. Edge is talking about your title. Brock is back. I was going to come out here and challenge you at our next pay-per-view on Peacock. Extreme Rules on Peacock for NBC Universal, not Fox. And he says, but I don't trust anyone around here. I'm not waiting around in line. I'm challenging next week on Smackdown. And then Finn just throws the mic at Reigns, attacks. The Usos attack him. Reigns runs away. And then the Street Profits make the save. And then they allow Balor to hit the coup de grace on, I believe, Jimmy. So, and then that's it. That's your Smackdown.
And that was the show.
That's the show right there. We had a father break up with his dad, and then Sami Zayn...
father break up with his dad.
Father break up with his son, and then Sami Zayn put his balls on his head.
Yeah, virtually.
Mr. Sinister says, why did Steve sound like an Irish Wrestling News Now? Hey, you're acknowledging that I at least sounded Irish, so mission accomplished. Here we go with the Smackdown. I got a Smackdown QA thread here.
You got questions here in chat? Send them our way.
Let's see here. David Matushek says, speaking as someone who did not see tonight's Smackdown, how would you deal with your day if the show got preempted? I would just enjoy a Friday night after a Rampage review.
We'd cover it on Monday, I guess.
Yeah, we would just cover on Monday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anthony R. with USA constantly upset about Fox getting Hell in a Cell match, and now they're upset over the roster. Well, now Fox is upset too. But he says, do you think in the next round of TV signings they'll want more incentives for them to sign on a new deal? Or is this more focusing on that? This is a good question. You would think, like everything in life, you learn from your mistakes. You learn from your experiences. Yeah. Wins and learns, right?
Wins and learns, yes.
So, yes, I would think that there would, if possible, they would probably want to negotiate some assurances about roster stuff. Maybe you would think at this point, Fox should probably be like, we got $1 billion invested in your company.
Yeah.
We're sending a guy down who's going to have a say at your table. And USA can send a guy if they want to, but we're sending a guy down that's going to have our best interest because we're paying you $1 billion.
It's possible, I suppose.
I mean, I don't know if they'd get it, but hey, you're not going to get anything if you don't ask for it, right?
That's true. White Brownie asked, do we get Finn versus Cena at Crown Royal? I guess depends on Cena's availability.
Hey, John, let's go shoot a movie in Saudi Arabia. Let's see here. Wolfpack for Life says, did WWE kayfabe why a jobber entrance is a thing with Baron Corbin? They said last week a guy that can't even afford music when he comes out. Yeah, no, they totally kayfabe that. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, they did. Totally. Adam Beveridge, so we fantasy booked Adam Cole debut in AEW, but how would you book his proper main roster debut if he does indeed re-up with WWE?
He's Ray's adopted child. Ray's adopted child. Son, I'm sorry. I've replaced you with my new adopted son, Adam Mysterio.
Adam Mysterio, baby.
Adam Mysterio, Ray.
Let's see with Kevin Owens. That's how you do it.
Eddie Brock's Venom. If Brock's going to be the face of Fox of SmackDown, do you think? Oh, the head face. Do you think we'll see Brock wrestle like before they made him Suplex City Brock? Do you think he's going to change up his style to be a more babyface thing? I think that the Suplex City pops people, right? Doesn't that?
It does. I think it does.
I mean, I think that he's going to have more of a number one. Brock's going to lose to Roman.
Mm-hmm.
It'll probably just be one big match. Maybe they'll even wait till the Rumble. I don't know. It's only 4 months away. Or I guess maybe Survivor Series, but they really need to take advantage of Lashley being the champion right now.
Mm-hmm.
5 months away, September to
September yet.
We're at the end of August, and it's the end
Usually
of January.
End of January, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Never mind. 5 months. They're not going to wait that long. Think they're going to do Brock at Extreme Rules?
No, it'll probably be Crown Royal.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Saudi Arabia. Let's see here. Moses Opposes says, which is worse? I'm sorry for absolutely nothing. Or, you know what made me do it? You people. That's worse to me.
Yeah.
Blaming the fans for you being a dick is worse to me than I have no apologies.
Yeah. Totally.
Yes, Stevens J. Crown Royal is what we call Crown Jewel.
Correct.
Right. Correct. Let's see here. James Rodriguez says, if you two hit the jackpot, much like Corbin did, would you use your newfound wealth to completely change your lifestyles and buy expensive cars and clothes, or still act like you're on a budget? I would find it very difficult. If I had tons of money.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm not. I don't think I'd ever be like a Lamborghini guy. Now, what I probably would do, this is probably within. I would probably hop on like whatever, like a vintage car site and find like a 71 Mustang or something like that, or a Challenger. I would see I'd probably do that.
Yeah.
You know, because it seems like fun. If you got all the money in the world, why not? But like, I've never been like, oh, I need a $50,000 watch. I might get like a $200 watch because that'd be nice. That's kind of the extent of it.
I don't wear watches though, so
I don't either. But maybe
if I need to tell time, I have a clock on my phone.
Maybe I'd turn into a watch guy.
I would take my family on a nice vacation.
Yeah, that's nice.
And I'd buy some guitar stuff.
What about like a Tesla? Would you buy a Tesla? Yeah. Because you're big on keeping your emissions low.
Well, I mean, like ideally that'd be great. I know it's probably in the grand scheme of things kind of a drop in the hat, but I like to feel like I'm doing my part. You know?
That's what I'm saying. You know, a Tesla. Yeah. What about a Tesla man? Would you buy a Tesla man?
Not interested in the robot. No.
Could you imagine you go out there for like a midnight snack and some fucking robot dude is just hanging out in your refrigerator?
Not interested.
God damn it! He's
doing the dishes at like 3 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah, and then he's like doing the dishes and turns.
Not interested.
Intruder. No. Like, whoa.
I'd look up Tesla's return policy on their robots right then and there.
I'd say you get to stepping, son.
I know.
You need to walk your ass back down to the Tesla factory. Exactly. Intruder. No, listen, I am not an intruder.
It's my house. You're the intruder.
Intruder alert. I am calling the cops and will disable you. Whoa, dude.
It's my house.
He starts doing crazy moves.
I know. No, I would not get a Tesla robot.
You have to get your phone and like get on the app and program them to sit the hell down.
Where's the shutdown? Where's the override? You know?
Where's the override? Where's the override?
Like I'd do something sensible, like get solar panels installed in my house. You know?
Yeah, totally. Oh man, that's all the questions I have here.
Oh, okay. See there any more on Twitch?
We'll end on this one. Awkward Vegas says, "You're in charge of Happy Corbin merch." Man, I got to restart NXT just so I can bring a Tesla robot in. It says, "You're in charge of Happy Corbin merch. What does the first featured shirt look like?" It's like the Vince shirt that they did where Vince is at the roulette table or whatever that shirt was.
Yeah.
It's that, but it's Corbin instead of Vince.
I think it's do a close-up of a goofy Corbin smile. That's it.
That's good. I like that. That's good.
Like that.
Yeah. That's really good.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
All right. That's going to do it for us. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Got the weekend off, so we'll see you back on Monday at noon.
Hopefully my voice cut will be back by Monday.
Hopefully I'll be back by noon. It might be like closer to 1 on Monday.
Yeah, that's
entirely sure. So in any event, we'll keep you guys updated. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.